Well, hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 196 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. We're doing one thing every day to get what you want. I'm doing one thing every day to get what I want in this year's challenge. This month, we're focused on relationships. All the different relationships that we have in our life. Each month, we're focusing on an area of a life framework that I use to take some of the chaos and craziness that is my life and most people's lives and put some frames and semblance of order around it. So we've spent a month on physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and this month we're spending on relationships. We're going to cover the areas of communication, contribution, and confidence as well. And then we'll do some other topics for the end of the year and other things that help us really supercharge and get the goals that we want for ourselves. Well, today we're talking about conflict resolution and our ability to handle and deal with conflicts, because they're bound to come up in our relationships. I can't think of a single relationship I have ever had where there wasn't some disalignment or disagreement or conflict that came up during that relationship. And sometimes the relationships survived the conflicts that came up, sometimes they didn't, because everybody isn't meant to be in our life forever. So let me grab a magnifying glass and let's talk a little bit about conflict resolution. Like, every day since the beginning of February 1st, I started doing this. There's a companion little bit of a write-up in Guide 17 on the Get Up and Go private challenge Facebook group. You can go there and you can read the little write-up, which goes into more detail of each of these things. I just want to quickly touch on them. And then our action item today, I'd like to cover that up front so you don't have to listen to the whole thing if you already know about conflict resolution. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being sucky, 10 being awesome, how would you rate yourself right now on your ability to resolve conflicts? I guess I'd give myself about a 7 plus. I'm pretty good at solving problems, finding win-win solutions, etc. Because I do some of the things that we're going to talk about briefly. One of the things we need to make sure we're doing, and a lot of people don't do this, is that we're dealing with the root cause of the conflict or of the challenge, right? Sometimes we end up talking about, and I am guilty of this as well, something that's going on, but then we bring a whole bunch of other stuff into it. I have been known to do that because I haven't resolved all the things from the past in certain relationships, right? So we want to make sure that we are looking at the real root cause of the problem, not just the symptoms of the problem, right? And I can think of a gazillion examples of this, as I'm sure you can too, because we've all had so many relationships and so many situations and things that come up in those relationships. But we want to look at, is it really a communication issue? Are we not clearly sharing our expectations with one another? Unmet expectations is another root cause. Financial disparity is a root cause in our relationships. Jealousy and insecurity can be a root cause in our relationships. Differing values and beliefs. If we have different beliefs and values than the person we're in a relationship with, that is going to cause conflicts. And then external stressors. Was COVID-19 an external stressor for anyone? Anyone besides me? Of course it was. So we want to make sure that when we're dealing with this current situation or conflict, that we're going all the way to the root cause of it, not just dealing with that particular detail, because if we do, then more things are going to arise because we haven't solved the real problem. If we don't communicate well with one another, that's a root cause problem. We need to figure out better ways to communicate versus you said this and it hurt my feelings, etc. So what are some of the effective conflict resolution skills that we can, and techniques that we can apply and we can use? Number 1, to deal with communication, active listening. Are you actively listening to the other person? Using I statements. I feel blank when blank. Instead of saying you do this, you do that, and accusing the other person, you say, this is how I feel. Now, people will argue. Some people, believe me, will argue with how you feel and make you think that you don't have a right to your feelings, that you absolutely positively do. Just like they have a right to their feelings, you have a right to your feelings. And if they don't respect that, that's a root cause of problem, and you might not want to be in a relationship with that person. Take a breather, taking a break, just taking time out from one another is a great way to come back fresh and actually solve the problem. Seek compromise, not victory. A lot of people in relationships think that everything has to be win-lose. I win, you lose. If I don't win, then I'm out. And what we have to realize is that if we want to be in a relationship with people, there's got to be a way to compromise and find a way for both of us to win, both of us get value out of the relationship, or we're not going to be in a relationship. And we need to use I can't read my writing. Use humor. Oh, that's a good one. Sometimes humor. I remember being in fights with my ex-husband, and one or the other of us would crack a joke, and that would diffuse all of the tension, and we'd be able to revisit the challenge or the conflict that we were having and settle it. Practice patience. And then sometimes you got to seek professional help. Sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need therapy. Sometimes you need a third party or a mediator to help to resolve the conflict, depending on what you're dealing with. So those are just some ideas. Again, our action item today, scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at resolving conflict? Share in the comments below just your number. And if you have any questions about this, as usual, hit me up and ask. Otherwise, I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another relationship-related topic. Have a great day. I will, of course, see you tomorrow. Bye. Go resolve some conflicts.